In the quiet village of Sundapa, a hard-working couple named Raghav and Meera lived with their 13-year-old son, Kabir. Kabir was a bright and smart boy, but as he got older, a shadow fell over his heart. He became demanding, careless, and slowly his words began to cut his parents like sharp stones. Raghav was a labourer, toiling under the hot sun in the fields day after day. Meera, his wife, would stitch clothes late into the night. Her fingers sore just to make sure Kabir could go to a good school. Every single rupee they earned, every drop of sweat that fell from their brows was for their son. They dreamt of a bright future for him, a life better than their own. But Kabir started to see the world through a different lens. At school, he looked at his wealthy friends and felt a sting of envy. He started coming home with a heavy heart and heavier demands. "Why don't you buy me a new cycle? Everyone at school has one," he'd complain. Or he would push his plate away, saying, "I don't want this cheap food. You never give me anything good." His mother, Meera, would try to soothe him with a soft voice. "Son, your father and I are trying our best. Just give us a little more time." But Kabir would just roll his eyes, slam the door, and leave his parents standing in a cloud of sadness. They would look at each other, their eyes speaking a language of silent pain. But they never complained. They just worked harder. One afternoon, Kabir burst into the house, his face red with anger. "My friends laugh at me because my clothes are old and faded," he yelled. Meera's voice was a mere whisper as she replied, "Son, I will stitch you a new shirt. Just give me one day." But Kabir didn't want to listen. "Just leave it. You never do anything properly," he shouted, pushing his plate of food away and storming out of the house. Meera's eyes filled with tears that she couldn't hold back. Raghav's hands trembled with a mix of anger and helplessness. He looked at his wife and whispered, "Meera, our son has forgotten our sacrifices." The very next morning, Kabir's school announced a field trip to the city. The cost was 500 rupees. He came home and demanded the money, his tone leaving no room for discussion. Raghav checked his pockets, his heart sinking as he pulled out only 80 rupees. "Son, we don't have," he began, but Kabir cut him off. "You're useless. Everyone else's parents are sending them." He spat before storming off again. Raghav and Meera made a silent promise to each other. They would get the money no matter what. For the next 2 days, Raghav skipped his meals to save every penny. Meera, with a heavy heart, sold her small gold nose pin, the last memory she had of her own mother. Together, they gathered the 500 rupees. The next morning, they gently placed the folded notes in Kabir's hand. He just glanced at it and said, "Okay." Not a word of thanks. Not even a look. On the trip, Kabir's teacher played a short film for the students. It was about the unspoken sacrifices parents make. On the screen, Kabir saw mothers skipping meals so their children could eat. Fathers working overtime with tired eyes, parents hiding their pain behind a smile. They pretended everything was fine, even when their world was falling apart. A line from the film struck Kabir like a bolt of lightning. Parents give you everything, even when they have nothing left to give. Suddenly, he couldn't breathe. Images flashed in his mind. His mother stitching clothes late into the night. His father returning home with sore, swollen feet, their sad, quiet faces after his angry outbursts. A pain he had never known pierced his heart. His hands began to shake. He whispered to himself, "What have I done?" That evening, he didn't wait for the bus. He ran all the way back home. He found Meera in the kitchen, cooking rotis and rogov, trying to fix a broken lantern. Without a word, Kabir fell to his knees in front of them. "Ma." "Baba, I'm so sorry," he sobbed. "I forgot what you do for me. I only thought about myself." Meera froze, and then tears of relief streamed down her face. Raghav dropped his tools and pulled Kabir into a tight hug. "Son, we only ever wanted you to understand," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Kabir cried in his mother's lap, feeling like a small child again, finally safe, finally home. From that day on, everything changed. Kabir stopped complaining. He started helping his mother stitch and joined his father in the fields after school. He studied harder than ever before. When he felt anger rising, he chose to apologize instead of arguing. He began to appreciate everything: the simple food, the hand-stitched clothes, the warmth of his small home. The villagers noticed the change. "Look at Kabir," they'd say. "He has become such a good son." Kabir would just smile and reply, "My parents gave me everything. Now it's my turn to give back." When we finally open our eyes, we see our parents' sacrifices are everywhere. They are in the food we eat, the clothes we wear, and the dreams we are able to chase. Never forget the sacrifices your parents make. They often give up their own dreams just to build yours. Thanks for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe.